Assalamu alaikum sir, I am Aisha Tasnim Rafa and my ID is 19406731. As we are at the end of the semester, I would like to thank you for your knowledge, labor and skill you have provided, and also would like to wish you a safe and sound vacation. I am presenting a group presentation with my other 4 group members respectively Waisili Tawhid, Sheikhum Ms. Mazun Nurain, Abdullah Mamun and Shipan Ahmed. Today we will talk on the topic of school violence. Schools are the place where children gain skills and knowledge as well as learn behavior and attitude that may shape their relationship with the community. Children's experiences at schools have lasting impact on their physical, mental and social life. Safe and protective learning environment are thus essential for ensuring a better and healthy future of the students. But unfortunately, nowadays, violence has a part of the educational setting and almost all students are affected in some way. Now I will discuss another part of our assignment and that is discussion of the topic. In this part, we can focus on 2 key factors that are types of school violence and the school violence in context of Bangladesh. If we focus on the types of school violence, UNESCO recognized some forms of school violence like physical violence, mental violence, sexual violence, and the most common violence nowadays are bullying and cyberbullying. In context of Bangladesh, we see more bullying than the other forms of violence. A survey has been set up in this regard and it is organized by UNESCO with 556 secondary school students, and the result shows that nearly half of the students, that is 44.4% of the students had experienced bullying, where the other forms of school violence took half of the place. Bullying is a common phenomenon at school in both rural and urban areas of Bangladesh. However, there are little information regarding this issue and its nature. Since it has a short and long-term adverse effect, it is essential to explore the prevalence rate and its nature of violence at schools in Bangladesh. So this was the inauguration of our presentation. The rest will be delivered by my other group members. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, for your kind opportunity. I am Waisili Tawhid. My ID is 19406711. My teammate Aisha Tasnim Rafa has given an introductory description of the topic. Now I will discuss about some examples regarding school violence. A 9-year-old boy who feels all hope is lost after being punched, kicked in the schoolyard remains in the same class as the child responsible. A family was forced to send their daughter interstate to escape child bullying and violence at school after footage of her assault spread across social media last year. These are some of the horrifying stories parents have shared with the reporter Inquiry into School Violence, sharing victims' own experience of school violence. Maliha Ahmed, currently pursuing her PhD in economics at the University of Illinois at Chicago, previously worked in research at BIDS and BHD, has shared her own experience of becoming a victim of school violence. She said, "What I have gone through in my childhood is something that often leads kids to depression and suicidal thoughts. Bullying is often an ignored subject in Bangladesh because the victims, especially teenagers, feel like it is okay to live with such behavior. They used every opportunity possible to shatter her into pieces and break her confidence at such a vulnerable age where one can easily be prone to suicidal thoughts. Every day she was made to feel that she is worthless because she did not look Bengali or acceptable according to their standards. Being a deeply analytical kid since childhood, she could somehow understand the reason behind such bullying behavior. She knew the bullies perceived her as weak, hence the reason for their bullying. So she stayed strong and unaffected. Still, no matter how hard she tried during her teenage days, bullying affected her confidence badly in school. Bangladeshi parents often assume that school is the place where children have fun, make friends and are often ignorant of bullying. Being young and vulnerable, bullied kids, just like the kids who have been molested, might not confide in their parents as they may be too ashamed to admit it. Also, parents, when their kids confide in them, might lack the proclivity to believe in them and perceive it as the child making excuse not to attend school. Teenage kids are at a very vulnerable age and often become depressed and suicidal. We need more awareness of bullying among parents so that they teach their children the appropriate code of conduct at school, and also among school authorities to spread awareness and keep an eye for any bullying going around. It is high time we stand raise awareness to stop bullying. Thank you, sir. Now my next teammate Umm Sumaya will continue throughout the rest of the talk.
Thank you, Faisali Tawhid for providing me further discussion of the topic. At first, I would like to thank my honorable co-teacher Mr. Khalid Rahman for giving us a nice presentation topic. This is Sheikh Umesuma Junurain and my ID number is 194053551. Now I will discuss about the topic school bullying and its tragic result in Bangladesh. Many school kids have the tendency to play prank on other and torturing their fellows. Some of the societies deal with it very strongly, while some turn blind to the problem. In truth, it is a very big issue worldwide. It hampers the mental health of the young minds and their studies as well. Some of them cannot forget the trauma, even crying for the rest of the life. That is why the nation in the West have the rules that handle bullying, and teachers are also very aware of the issue. But here in Bangladesh, we hardly talk about it. We only seem to know about the when something fatal happens. The killing of Buet student Abrar has once again brought this issue into the fore, and many now talking about the danger of the school kids' tendency to assault their fellow too. Many of the students in our schools and colleges are harassed by the fellow students, but we know only a few cases. Some of the parents try to talk and with their teacher, but that too and does not always help. Complaint to the authorities hardly works, and in many cases it means further problems for those kids. A study of United Nations Education and Scientific and Cultural Organization has said that 23% of Bangladeshi school students are victim of to bullying, which indicates that the problem is very grave. It sent them into depression, makes them feel alienated, and often they do not sleep well and committing suicide. Our school should act to put an end to such a brutal practice. Children are very precious to their parents. In reality, parents and teachers who act into loco parentis continue to punish children with corporal and physical psychological torture. In our school, corporal and psychological torture punishment refer to the international application of the physical and psychological pain as they bringing discipline in their behavior of the student. Many schools think that physical and psychological punishment is a efficacious method for training and discipline. Therefore, the parent and teacher are not ready to recognize this kind of conduct as as child abuse. According to the information of Bangladesh Issue Academy Adhikar Forum, in the first 6 months of the last year, 41 children became victim of physical abuse in education institute. In last six months, the number is 69. There is no specific prohibition in state legislation regarding physical and psychological punishment in education and institution. Children Act, which was enacted in 2013, does not have any provision against the physical and psychological punishment in education and institution. But according to Section 70 of this Act, if any person with custody, charge, or care of any children assault, abuse, neglect, forsake, abandons them, then that person will be deemed to have committed an offense under this Act. The penalty for the offense is imprisonment up to 5 years, a fine up to 1 lakh, and on both. Thank you. Now I will invite Abdullah Al Mamun for further discussion.
Thank you, Somaya. Assalamu alaikum, sir. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to present my pre-recorded PowerPoint presentation in front of you. I am Abdullah Mamun. My ID is 194038881. Now I describe my part of this topic: effect of bullying in school. School bullying has become very common nowadays. It leads to several repercussions, anxiety and depression. Who have faced depression on several different levels based on several bullying. A majority of children do not speak about it at home. Parents are required to keep a track on the behavior and interaction of the child to find out any sign of problem. Who get bullied don't feel comfortable discussing it. They like to keep it themselves. This increase depression and anxiety in them to lead a serious issue. changes in eating and sleeping pattern. The feeling insult disturb the student. Those thoughts keep going replayed in their mind. This depresses them to sleep or eat properly. Many times, those traumatic leaves them restless and scared. Who get bullied in school, they can't sleep and they cannot study properly. It impacts their studies and academic performance. Academic achievement due to the loss of interest in study. They do not pay less attention in their studies. This reflects on the report card. They score less and less from others. Now I discuss the prevention part of this topic. There is strong evidence that school-based violence and bullying prevention program reduce violence and victimization. The goal is to stop victims from happenings in the first place. Several prevention strategies have been identified. Universal school-based prevention program can significantly lower the rates of the aggression and violence behavior. These programs are delivered to all students in school or grade level. Parent and family-based program can improve family relation and lower the risks for violence by children, especially when started can. This program early provides parents with education about child development and teach skill to communication and solve problems in non-violence ways. Monitoring programs can significantly reduce youth violence. This program pair a young parents person with an adult who can serve a positive role model and help guide the young person's behavior. Under such circumstances, forming an anti-bullying cell in educational institution might be a quick solution to problem that cultural accepted. The parents and teachers should think about the effect of their teaching and parenting techniques on the children and how process is affecting other children in turns. Thank you, sir. This is the end of my topic. Now Shipur will continue the rest of the topic.
Assalamu alaikum sir. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk. Today I will present the analysis and the conclusion part of the presentation. I'm MD Shipon Ahmed. My ID is 19403351. Let's start. Analysis. We have to keep in mind school violence, which we tend to oversee most of the time regarding it is a minor mischief by children, can in many cases leave a permanent trauma in the victim's mind, which may affect the whole life of a children. The true measure of trauma out of school violence can be unfathomable. So at first we have to change our view towards school violence. These can be the very first steps against it, which may not seem like much, but this is from the change begins. After a long period of school bullying or school violence, a student generally may feel like a victim because age has a moderating effect on internalizing behavior of victims. So victim may show more internalizing behavior as they become adolescents. The family usually influence adolescent behavior and belief, including levels of acceptance of violence in both boys and girls, and thereby determining to a greater or lesser extent the likelihood of their developing violent behavior. Conclusion. This study inquired into the role that parental perspective and empathy have in support for violence by youth, and also the level of involvement in school violence. The results show that parental support for the use of non-violent statistics for resolving conflict, as well as higher level of cognitive and affective empathy, are related to more favorable as adolescents' belief in pacific solution. Students who did not use violence on their classmates and who acted when in presence of bullying of another student had higher level of empathy. At last, anyone could be the victim of school violence. It is a problem affecting all area, all gender, and all ages. The facts of school violence are alarming, as we can see above. But it is nice to know that there are so many easy things that each person can do help put an end to the violence being seen in the public school. So it is job of everyone to keep our youth safe. Thank you.